All right, fellas, welcome back to Random City Sports Ballers. Today we are pick number 4 in this $50 league. I'm saying goodbye to my daughter. She stopped by to check out and say hi and everything, make sure I'm okay, and I'm okay. Thanks for coming by, Hannah. I love you, kid. And we're about to get underway with pick number 4. Okay, so this one, I'm really hoping Jahmyr Gibbs gets to me. I'm going to go back to an old draft strategy I used to have. I looked at last year's drafts, and I noticed I was taking a lot of wide receivers in those first couple of rounds. And in fact, my last place team that I had last year, I got a team that finished last place. I've never had that happen till last year. Finished last place. I didn't take my first running back until David Montgomery and Ramondre Stevenson. So you get figured out why I finished last place in that league, didn't you? So we're not going to do that again, that zero RB strategy. No thank you. I'm going to go ahead on and do a better job than that. So let's hope that Jamar Chase gets to me, Jahmyr Gibbs, one of those two is getting to me, and we'll build from there. All right, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson went with the first 2 picks. You know what? Brian Robinson. That'd be a nightmare in the first round, wouldn't it? But, okay, so here we are. Who are you going to take? Wild Blitz NCOG. All right, is that the North Carolina OG? All right, he took Jamar Chase. That's an easy pick for me to take Jahmyr Gibbs. Boom, that's a good building spot, right? Right? And Magic Move Anthony, I believe that is, takes Justin Jefferson. Look, all right, I love Justin Jefferson. Wonderful career, excellent player. But, man, J.J. McCarthy looks like crap. So Jefferson might suffer because McCarthy sucks. And there went C.D. Lamb with number 6. I hope McCarthy can get it put together. Puka Nacua, number 7. And historically, I watched Derrick Henry go here. Sometimes Christian McCaffrey, but... And they record Nico Collins, number 8. And Christian McCaffrey, 9. So Derrick Henry's hanging out a little bit. That's definitely going to go to Sir Johnson, the number 10 pick. Round 1 and 2. He's got a back-to-back. I love these back-to-back spots. I always use up the whole first minute at least. Because in that first minute, I've got figured out who both picks will be usually. But if not, I've got one of them figured out. So boom, now I've still got one full more minute. And it was Neighbors and Genty. Neighbors and Genty, and there goes Derrick Henry, number 12. Man, that's got to feel good for the 9th pick. Wow. And Coach Mode Riley is on auto pick and got Amon-Ra St. Brown. And now here, it's hit and miss. We don't know who's going with these picks. Devin Achane went with that one, number 14. He's excellent when Tua plays. When Tua's not playing, it gets a little ugly for him. Achane, number 14. So, what am I going to be looking at, okay? There's a lot of great ball players here. Jonathan Taylor went number 15. There's some receivers. We've got Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs. So we got, no longer do we have Bucky Irving. But we've got some good receivers. We've got some great running backs. There's a lot to pick from here, fellas. And I don't want to risk not getting a great player, so I got to be good with this pick. I'm looking at Jacobs. I'm looking at Brian Thomas. Can Brian Thomas repeat last year? I don't know. McConkey, good player, but a little early investment to take him here. Kyron Williams, don't want to see, no. So, what do we do, fellas? What do we do? Brian Thomas, A.J. Brown, Josh Jacobs. Let's pull that Josh Jacobs trigger. Excellent plays last year. Lots of touchdowns, lots of yards. Decent receiving yards and catches. It's a half PPR because we're in Yahoo. So I've got Gibbs and Jacobs as my first 2 picks. Chase Brown went right after. I knew Chase Brown wasn't getting back to me. I knew that. And he would have taken Josh Jacobs most likely. Now let's see which of these receivers gets back to me. Let's see which one gets back to me. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel better about this. You know, last year I did the 0 RB. This year I'm doubling up on hero RB. How about them apples? Number 1, number 2, Gibbs Jacobs. If Brian Thomas Jr. gets back to me, or A.J. Brown, I'm going to be thrilled. Drake London. You know, I was asking a friend of mine last night. He was like, I don't know about Drake London. And I asked him, I said, who's better? Who would you rather have? And, you know, he couldn't argue against that. You know, he's like, you know what? You're right. That's a top 10 guy. That's a WR1. You know, he's right there, you know. At worst, he's number 11. Because who's better? Who would you take ahead of him? It's a tough one to answer. Now, last year, I did have Lamar Jackson. There goes Kyron Williams. I did have Lamar Jackson on that last place team, but you know what? It's not enough to make up for my starting running backs were David Montgomery and Ramondre Stevenson, fellas. What a nightmare that was. Okay, so Kyron Williams was 21, so he took Brian Thomas and then Kyron Williams. There goes Brock Bowers with number 22. That's, you know, the first tight end off the board. It usually happens right here in round 3. And, you know, I'm just sitting here looking. I have got the chance for A.J. Brown. I got some quarterbacks to pick from. Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I don't care for Tyreek Hill. But if I really want to go for it, you know, I could take a Lamar Jackson. But I really think I should be taking a receiver here. Don't you? I mean, I've got 2 running backs. Some of you are already cringing because of the 2 running backs. But I knew I would get some stuff back to me, and we're going to turn that into A.J. Brown. I believe he's going to have better numbers receiving. I think that Philadelphia is going to, they'll lean on the run a little bit less this year. They'll still lean on it. But I think A.J. Brown will improve on those numbers, and, you know, I'll take it. I'll take an improved A.J. Brown. What else would I have done, though? Lamar Jackson could have been a guy. Ladd McConkey could have been a guy. If you want to talk about someone who's not going to pass the ball much, it's the Chargers. Tyreek Hill, no thank you. Devontae Adams is a later pick. So, you know, in that particular spot, A.J. Brown I was feeling it. I was feeling it for A.J. Brown. What else would you do? Hello, Cupcake. All right, number 27, Eat the Rich, and then we've got an auto draft in Coach Mode Riley. Okay, Tyreek Hill went number 27. Coach Mode Riley. Auto picks usually take 10 seconds or so. And he took T. Higgins. See, I'd rather have A.J. Brown. T. Higgins, don't get me wrong, fine season last year. Let's take a look at his numbers. He had 911 receiving yards on 73 catches with 10 touchdowns. Doing all right, right? That's doing all right. What's getting back to me? Looks like I could get a quarterback, another receiver. I do believe Marvin Harrison will have improved numbers. I do believe Omarion Hampton, is that pronounced right? Omarion. Anyways, you know, there's some fellas there. Josh Allen is gone, of course, after T. Higgins, so that's interesting. And Sir Johnson is up next. Garrett Wilson with his first pick. Still, I am not investing in Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry, man. I don't know why I would. I'm not feeling it for that. I'm just not feeling it. And there goes Trey McBride, another tight end, second tight end coming off the board. Yep, and he went number 32, Omarion Hampton. To the auto draft coming up now. Who you drafting, auto? Jaden Daniels taking that quarterback. Don't get me wrong, I could take a quarterback here, but I'm eyeballing some of these receivers. Marvin Harrison, Mike Evans. I'm not doing a DK Metcalf because I don't believe in the passing game in Pittsburgh. And really, no one else jumps out at me until we get down around Cortland Sutton. So let's hope Mike Evans gets back to me here. Eat the rich. Well, there ain't many of them, so it ain't going to feed many of us. George Kittle, third tight end off the board, number 34. Touchdown, Tony. Touchdown, Tony. Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba. You know, if I take Mike Evans and I have A.J. Brown, I've got kind of some senior citizen wide receivers, don't I? I mean, seriously. Whew, boy. What about that Terry McLaurin? You know, Jaden Daniels, he's going to be throwing to somebody. And Terry McLaurin is going to be his favorite target, I think. I mean, they hooked up well last year. Mike Evans. Mike Evans, he made it back to me. Whoo, doggy. All right. I'm going to look at some of these teams and see if they have a quarterback yet. No. 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 None of them have quarterbacks. They'll all take a quarterback in this round. All of them are likely to take a quarterback. So, well, a couple of them will. I'm still going to do it with Mike Evans. I really like Mike Evans in this position, guys. I really do. You know, I mean, he did well last year, as he usually does, but Terry McLaurin is right there staring at me. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna Mike Evans this. And now we've got senior citizens at wide receiver, and we got a couple of excellent running backs. Told you they'd be taking quarterbacks. There goes Joe Burrow, first of them. Right after. I mean, I expect Jalen Hurts to disappear right here, and then I'm waiting to get back around. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the Patrick Mahomes. We're looking at the Baker Mayfield areas. You know, it's not going to be pretty for me yet. There goes Kenneth Walker after Marvin Harrison Jr. And Jalen Hurts went right there. So there's no quarterbacks that I want to take in this position. I mean, these are some fellas, you know. Shoo. Let's get back to all players and have a look over it, because you got to have an overall team here, guys. You know that. You know that. And there's some quarterbacks that can still help me out coming up. There's still some quarterbacks that can help me out. You know, I mean, it's not going to be the points that a Lamar Jackson gets, that a Josh Allen gets, but it's still going to be pretty good. What are we talking about? Jared Goff's and Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield, if he can do it again. I mean, that was a career year for him last year. Breece Hall, number 42. All right, my wide receivers have the same bye week. You seeing that? So, now would be a good time to grab that Terry McLaurin. DJ Moore is another fine idea. I do like Cortland Sutton, but I think I can wait on him. Okay, James Conner's another good idea. Kamara always is a good idea. What do you have last year? 231, 950 yards rushing, only 6 touchdowns, 543 yards receiving, only 2 touchdowns. And he just does it every year. Every year. But we're going to grab Terry McLaurin to make up for this issue of 2 Week 9 bye players. So my flex position is Terry McLaurin. Devonta Adams went 45th. And touchdown, Tony. Touchdown! Alvin Kamara goes 46. Eat the rich. There ain't that many of them, fella. You're going to have a lot of hungry people if that's all we're eating. What was that movie, Soylent Green? I've not seen that movie. But to my knowledge, I guess it's people eating or drinking people or something. I don't know. It's weird. DK Metcalf, number 47. Auto pick, David Montgomery. Hey, Moore went right there, number 49, and our back-to-back, Sir Johnson. He'll probably... Did he take a quarterback yet? He did not, so there's a good chance he takes a quarterback because, well, he's still got a running back and a flex to fill in, but, you know, he's got a back-to-back, so he could take like a, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes right here. Patrick Mahomes, what is the deal with him? It's just every year it's a little bit worse. To last year, he was like the QB 11 or 12. I mean, that was disappointing for folks who took him. Still better than like Jordan Love, but Isaiah Pacheco with his first. Okay. Isaiah Pacheco, great player. Great player, that Isaiah Pacheco. And your second pick, sir. Now that you have your second running back, are you going to go flex or quarterback? Probably quarterback, right? And he's looking at it. I know he's going, it's too early to take one of these quarterbacks. It's just too early because, you know, you take a look, and he took Henderson from New England, that rookie running back. Hoping that works out. There goes Cortland Sutton. Well, I guess Cortland Sutton will not be on my team this year. You know, Mahomes, Mayfield, Purdy, Bo Nix. Bo Nix is not a bad idea. Great year last year. Sam Laporta went 53rd. And... you know, I mean, and then you start getting down here. I don't know why Jared Goff is getting discounted. He was one of the best last year. He's just great. And there goes Harvey, another rookie running back out of Denver. And coming up for Touchdown Tony. Seriously, if you're using Jared Goff last year, you're very happy. That didn't work out poorly at all. And you know what, fellas? Last year, as I've said, I had the top quarterback on my team, and I used my first round pick on Tyreek Hill. Not great. My second round pick was Mike Evans. Not bad. Then I took Lamar Alexander. Then I took Sam Laporta. And I didn't get any running backs until David Montgomery came back, and then I took Ramondre Stevenson right after that, and it just worked out so poorly. So, you know, I like to make all of my drafts look a little different, right? And I do have Jahmyr Gibbs once out of my 5 drafts so far. So this will be twice. Well, that's not too bad there, Pilgrim. That's not exactly loading up onto one player, is it? Uh-huh. All right, right here. Do I take my first bench player, hoping that will work into something? Or, you know what? I know what Mahomes did last year. I know what this looks like. I see it. I'm looking at it, fellas. But there could be improvement here, right? Xavier Worthy's got another year behind him, and... you know, that's a hard one to do. You know, you look at Baker Mayfield. This is a career year for him last year. Is he going to repeat that? You know, there are chances that he could repeat that. Or I could wait and see if I can get a Bo Nix. So let's take a look at these players again. Is there someone here that I'm just dying to have? No. So we're going to go to quarterbacks. And I'm going to count on an up year from Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that is I'm a little skeptical about that pick. You know, that was round 6, and I'm a little skeptical about it. I'm sure you guys are going, huh. Some of you are happy, but I'm sitting here going, So later on, there's a very good chance that somewhere in the later rounds, I'll be taking a Jared Goff to, you know, just cause, Maybe I'm not in love with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe I am. I don't know. All right, so I don't. T.J. Hawkinson is banged up right now. At tight end, all the top tight ends are gone, but there is still a Travis Kelce and a Mark Andrews. Are you seeing that? Kelce had 146 points last year on 823 catches, 97 receptions, only 3 touchdowns. He's a year older. Okay, so McMillan, Pollard, and Olave just went. Mark Andrews only had 55 catches, but 11 of them were for touchdowns. You know, there's going to be some touchdown regression there. Hawkinson, as we talked about, Hawkinson is banged up right now. And let's see what they got. He's returned to practice. He had a hip and leg injury the other day. And Joe, after Olave went Mixon. All right, fellas. We're building a team of senior citizens. Oh, my God. I'm going to take Travis Kelce in this 7th round. Travis Kelce in round 7. Counting on him to get more touchdowns than just those 3. You know, let's improve numbers for the whole team. I mean, we're talking about a great team here, guys. So let's see some improved numbers all around. All right, now we got to start thinking about our upcoming flex position players. I don't hate Jalen Warren. I'm not in love with it. You know, we got Jerry Jeudy, Jordan Mason, Rashee Rice might not be a bad idea. What's going on with him, right? Didn't practice. He's present, but worked with trainers. Okay, well, we don't know. Oh, yeah, he will be suspended most likely. That's right. Why didn't you guys tell me that? I'm sitting here talking about him, and you guys are just letting me talk about it like nothing's going on. What's up? So let's look at it by position. Wide receivers, it's a tough one. Okay, I've got 3, though. Running backs, I'd like to get another one, but let's see here. Tyrone Tracy will start with the job. Scadaboo we'll see what happens with him, right? This is where it gets ugly, though. I've only got the 2 running backs, but this is where everybody's at. Nobody's got a bench filled in yet. Some of them do, don't get me wrong. But, And let's remember one thing. With the running backs that I started with and them both having different bye weeks, I have them available for most of the season. So Warren, then Rice, then Jamison Williams. But yeah, I've got these running backs for the most part the whole season. I have an issue in week 9 with a wide receiver. I can just pick up one there. That'll be easy to do. And let's just fill in these backup positions, guys. Running backs, wide receivers. Zay Flowers, that's an interesting fella. You know, over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. You know, he just got drafted. Okay. I think that was our auto draft just took him. Okay, so Mason and then Hunter. You know, Hunter's talking about playing both sides of the ball. Look, I'm sorry. I don't see how a player can do that in today's game. But if he can, right on, friend. Right on. And Rome Aduns, I hope he improves on last year. You know, I really do. Jordan Addison, yep. Suspended 3 games, substance abuse. Got a DUI. Blah, blah, blah. Not great. Not the best. Running backs. It's so weird. We're at pick 80, and the reason all of these... There goes Hawkinson finally. The reason all of these numbers show average draft position of like 110 and stuff like that is because at this point, all of the auto picks and all the other stuff have already been taking all the tight ends. You know, they've been ripping through the tight ends already. And believe it or not, watch this, team defenses. You see in this, Auto picks are always taking defenses early. All right? And, of course, quarterbacks, there's still a few of them left. There's still a few. There's a handful of them left. But Baker Mayfield just went. So let's get back to all players. All right, Jalen Waddle, I don't hate, but he's got a Week 12 bye like Terry McLaurin. Calvin Ridley is going to be the top guy in Tennessee, but that's just being the top guy in Tennessee. Jerry Jeudy quietly had a pretty great season last year. In Cleveland, though, what's he got going on? Jaden Reed, I had a lot of faith in him last year, but he did not pan out. Juwan Jennings will be the guy over there in San Francisco. So, can Calvin Ridley put it together? What about these running backs? I think I'd like to take the chance on Cam Scattaboo. I know he's a backup. He's also my first bench guy. But if he can take that job from Tyrone Tracy, who was a fine running back, that's going to be a tall ask. But if he can take that job and he can really make it work, that could be a great pick. It could be a garbage pick. So let's take a look at the wide receivers again. We're back here to looking at the Calvin Ridleys and Jerry Jeudy's of the world. There goes Mark Andrews. Yes, Scattaboo. Probably could have waited on him a little bit, but I don't have any of him, and he was great in college last year. I don't normally try to invest too much in rookie based on their college performance. But you know what? You know what, fellas? Let's take that chance. There goes Bo Nix. Mark Andrews and then Bo Nix. And Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft quietly did quite well last year. Might have surprised a lot of people. Running backs. What else we got, fellas? I do like to take Bigsby, Travis Etienne. Bigsby, Etienne. Bigsby, Etienne. But I don't like Jacksonville. Rashad White had a fine season. We'll see how they balance that attack. Quinshawn Judkins. Fellas. He hasn't signed yet. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cue a couple of players. And Garendo, look, man, if I believe, which I do, if I believe that there will be an injury to CMC, Christian McCaffrey miss a game or two, maybe the whole season, then I believe Garendo is going to be the beneficiary of that. Wide receivers, my guy is gone, Calvin Ridley, and there went Jerry Jeudy right before me. Well, I'll be... you're going to do that to me, fellas. All right. So, look, Rome, hopefully he moves forward this year, right? What do we got going on with Chris Godwin? Yeah, he'll miss a couple games. Yeah. It's like Addison with his suspension. No to Justin Fields, Juwan Jennings. I do like Juwan Jennings, man. I do, fellas. I do. All right, let's take Juwan Jennings. If I'm going to sit here saying I like him, I got to put my money where my mouth is. All right, so that's 2 backups. We've got now 3 running backs and 4 wide receivers. I have my tight end. I have a quarterback. And Travis Kelce has week 10 off. So if I wanted to look for a backup tight end because, Kelce is disappointing me, I could do that. All right, Adunes went with number 86. Eat the rich. Travis Etienne. Whew. I had another team where he was an early pick for me. That didn't go great, did it? I think all of you know exactly how that went. I don't need to tell a single one of you how that went for me. What's it going to look like for Dak Prescott this year, who missed a lot of last year? Jacoby Myers. Hey, what are you doing? Stop it. Jacoby Myers, in Las Vegas. If he gets back to me, that could be a really good pick too, right? Right. Say it. But don't say it out loud, because that'll put it out in the universe, and then everybody else will go, well, what about Jacoby Myers? And then I'm sitting here going, damn it. Y'all gave it away. Ramondre Stevenson went 92. It takes a lot of guts to take a Dak Prescott right now. Brock Purdy, 93. Oh, that's the auto pick guy. And if you eat the rich, there goes Judkins. So one of my queued players is gone. And there goes Dak Prescott. Well, that takes a lot of guts. I mean, the likelihood of an injury there is through the roof. So, much love for Jacoby Myers. We're going to give that a shot. That gives me... I now have 5 wide receivers. We got to stop taking receivers. Let's look through some of these running backs, fellas. Okay, Bigsby. Gotcha. Javonte Williams. Boy, what? Dallas? I don't know what you got going on, fellas. Najee Harris, when will he regain his eyesight? We already have Garendo queued up. Jadon Blue, another Dallas running back. Jalen Wright. If they try to balance the load, I could see Jalen Wright getting some time, but I don't see it. I'm having a hard time seeing that. I really am. But I need to grab some guys. And that puts Tank Bigsby up there with Isaac Garendo at the top of my list, fellas. So, there goes Jaden Reed. All right. One of these fellas will take a chance on Addison, right? They will, certainly. Certainly they will. Certainly. Without question. Oh, yeah, I missed Kyler Murray and then Golden. I don't know his first name, but his last name's Golden. He's a Green Bay wide receiver, young fella coming in. And then right after that is another Green Bay receiver in Jaden Reed. So we're at round 11. It's amazing how quick these go nowadays, isn't it? I remember picking our drafts, live drafts in the basement at a buddy's house. There goes Warren, the Indianapolis tight end. Who's going to throw him the ball? We don't know. But I remember those days in the draft with everybody pulling out their magazine, and you got the guy that's waiting almost 10 minutes to take his pick, and you end up doing the draft for like 3.5 hours. Man, those were fun drafts, though. I had so much fun doing that with my friends back in the day. So much fun. All right, Caleb Williams, how are you going to do this year? Justin Herbert, how are you going to do this year? I'd rather have Goff over either one of those. There goes Njoku. And Addison went, so we're going to take Bigsby. Let's make this quick. Get these fellas to move forward. Now I've got 4 running backs. I feel comfortable with that. I like taking a backup quarterback because, look, It hurts when if you got a guy that goes down at quarterback, it hurts when you start trying. But there's always a guy on the waiver wire that's going to surprise you. Last year was Baker Mayfield. It goes Shakir, and Denver's the first defense off the board with number 106. Wasn't even an auto draft. Okay, here's the thing. All right. I had someone who was upset at my draft a couple of weeks ago because I took my kicker before the final round. There were 2 rounds left, and I took my kicker. And then in the next round, I took Detroit's defense. I had planned on, because I believe that with Aiden Hutchinson back, Detroit's defense is even more improved. So, they'll be a top 10 defense for sure. But I knew I could wait to get them. And I wanted, in my last position, I wanted Marvin Mims. And I knew I could wait until the last round for him. So why wouldn't I go ahead and take a kicker with still some time to go? All right, Pearsall, Javonte Williams, and then Deebo Samuel. So yeah, I mean, I made that move. I did. I made that move. In fact, let's look at what the defenses are right now. Philly, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, these are good defenses, all of them. Kansas City, not so much. Minnesota was one of the best last year. Detroit will be improved. Los Angeles wasn't terrible. Houston was pretty good. Buffalo was all right. We don't know who's going to be the number 1 defense. You want to try to guess? I'm not going to try to guess. So I'm going to hold off on defense yet again. I love the idea of a backup quarterback. You know how I feel about the Lions. Those are my boys. And I can get Jared Goff as a backup quarterback again, most likely. Most likely I can get him. So, I think I might go ahead and do that when he gets back to me. I mean, I could also, with Chris Godwin gone, this rookie has a good chance. I mean, Emeka Egbuka, he's got a good chance. Big slot receiver. There goes Herbert. But, fellas, let's get that quarterback backed up. Okay. But yeah, it hurts when you have a quarterback go down and then you're fishing for someone on the waiver wire or streaming every week. It is not easy to go through a season like that. I don't care for it, man. It hurts. And so let's see who the kickers are, because I'm fairly certain what I can do with defense. And if I can get, let's say I get Aubrey with this next pick, that's an amazing pick. That's an amazing pick. Aubrey, well, it's all about, will they move the ball at all? But he's accurate. And then, of course, there's Jake Bates. Cameron Dicker, Fairbairn, Boswell, Lutz. And we're in the same position with my 13th pick. I might take a kicker because, you watching? Watch this. Defenses. Look at who's left. Okay. Should I take my defense now? Should I? I'm wanting to take Detroit most likely. I could take Los Angeles and be happy. I could take Baltimore and be happy. I wouldn't take Kansas City. But I know they'll get back to me, guys. So I'm thinking, again, kicker. What else do I do? I have 5 receivers. So if I take another receiver, I'm at 6. Why would I want 6 receivers on my team? Okay, Philly and Baltimore just went. And there goes Spears. I don't want to play that game, fellas. 6 receivers. Is Guerrero banged up a little bit? Oh, he's going to miss a few weeks. Look at that. Jordan James. That's a tough one, isn't it? There goes Egbuka. You know, I mean, that would be receiver number 6. I just can't see myself doing it. When would he crack the starting lineup? It seems like a waste of a pick. So let's look for Jordan James here. There's Jerome Ford, who's, you know, he's got the starting job right now. Jadon Blue, okay. Jalen Right. Jordan James. Let's cue him up, guys. Let's cue him up. I'm taking a chance on an injury. And someone's going to go ahead in the comments. Tell me how much of a damn you to hell for taking a kicker in the 13th round. Yes, I know, but I can take my defense in exactly next round. I'll get a defense. Because, you know, when people say, well, there's not much difference between the number 1 and number 10 kicker. Yeah, there is. Somewhere around 45 to 50 points. That's about 3 points per week, 2 to 3 points per week, no matter what. And he took Aubrey. And so I'm looking at, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Dicker. It's either that or I'm taking Bates. It's either Dicker or Bates. And Dicker, you know, Bates, he actually sits out a lot because how much the Lions go for it on 4th down. But I'm going to go ahead and take Dicker. I love the Lions, but I believe in Dicker. Okay, so we got our 13th round. We took a damn kicker. Get over it, you bastards. And now there's a good chance that I end up with the Detroit Lions at my defense. Heck yeah, fellas. There goes Bates right after Dicker. So, kicker. See, I'm not the only one who's going, yeah, I know what I can do later. I'm not the only one. There goes Dallas Goedert. Minnesota's defense. Good chance defense is a fly off the board. There goes Jordan Love. I'd rather have Jared Goff, you know. Way rather have Goff than Jordan Love. Najee Harris going late there. Hold on, just got a text. Got to look at this because my other daughter is at work and she'll be getting out soon. Let's see, is that her? Hold on. Nope. That's just a random person. Hold on, I gotta go check this. I'll be right back. Alright. Well, I'm up. And hey, did I mention I'd be able to get Detroit on the way back? See it happen? So if I had taken, what, should I have taken Detroit around earlier? Skipped out on a kicker? You know, then I'm taking what? Tyler Bass, Young Aku? I don't know, but that's not who I wanted. Fairbairn is still there. Boswell. I'm just saying, guys, get the kicker you want if you know exactly what your next picks will be. Okay? If you know exactly what they're going to be, make that choice on a kicker before you make that choice on a defense. And the final pick is basically a waiver pick. What else was I going to do with this pick? I've already got the guys queued that I want. There's no one else that's making me go, oh, I better have him. Who is it? Pittman? Mooney, I do like Mooney. Maybe I will take Mooney, but that's sick. That's friggin' another wide receiver. It doesn't make sense to take another wide receiver. Keon Coleman, Rashad Bateman, Christian Kirk. Who among these guys is the wide receiver that I'm going, I have to have him? You know, for my other draft on that one, it was Marvin Mims, who I think is gone. Yeah, I think he's gone. No, there he is. He's still there. But, I mean, come on, man. These guys are still there. If I had taken him 2 picks earlier, now I'm still hunting for a kicker. So, all I'm saying is, you don't have to wait until the final round to take your kicker. You don't have to. You might be happier if you take him in round 13, maybe 14. Just build the team that you're building, knowing that these final 3 rounds, man, you got to get a defense at some point. You got to get a kicker at some point. Waiting until the final round isn't changing anything on what's going on my team. You know why? Because James is still there. Backup running back. Let's see how he does. And now we know, guess who's going to prove me wrong? Yeah, we know 100% who's going to play the whole season, Christian McCaffrey. All right, fellas, that's the end of the draft. I've got to go pick my daughter up from work. I appreciate you tuning in. Say a prayer for my son who passed last week from an aortic dissection. And, yeah, 2025 fantasy football, it's on us. Thanks for tuning in, fellas.